Hey, real quick, everybody, I want to just say here before the intro of the video or the beginning of the video or whatever, this video starts off pretty serious, and I'm talking about what's happened in our country. It's kind of sad. I'm sorry, but I felt compelled to say something to that effect. If you want to skip that, go ahead and skip until you see me hold this, and then back up from there until I start talking about what it is. I just give you a heads up. It's kind of a long video, but most of it is me talking about what's going on in our country right now. So again, if you don't want to watch that part, you can skip ahead probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes in, and you'll get there to the good part, not sad part. Hey, what is going on, everybody? Tom's Gold Dirt. And before we get today's video started today, which I think will be pretty interesting for those of you interested in firearms and plinking and whatnot, I do want to address a subject that is closely related to that. In the past week or so, we have had 2 well-reported incidents of mass shootings, and those things really hit me hard. It's tragic. It's absolutely horrendous to know that we live in a world that is full of evil. It's full of good too, but evil exists, and the evil at this caliber, that somebody could just go in and do what these individuals have done. You know, one, I guess, has an addiction problem, kind of perverted or whatever, and he punished those people working in these parlors that didn't deserve it. You know, nobody deserves it. Nobody deserves what happened to these folks. And then the other one is most recent in Colorado, where a law enforcement officer, I guess, engaged and lost their life. And for that, and for those people, and for those suffering from these losses, which we all mourn, this is not something that we can take lightly, especially in America, where you're free, and you should live free, and you should get to pursue your daily life and happiness and without fear. Or, you know, what do we have if we don't have that? You know, we're just another violent country. So what I want to do first is take a moment of silence, and for those who lost their lives, but those who are also suffering as a result of those who lost their lives. And then I want to talk a little bit more, and then we're going to get into today's video. So with that, here's a moment of silence for all of those who perished from these mass shootings and their families. Okay, so with that, like I said, I know that was brief, but it's kind of awkward on a video, and I'm sorry. I don't mean disrespect at all. I truly have thought and prayed hard about those individuals and their families, and it's just despicable that people can do such gross, evil things. And I guess so. Today's video, obviously, I didn't plan the circumstances or the timeline, but today's video is actually about ballistics gel, like do it on the cheap ballistics gel for testing ammo, to put the science behind reloading, right? You want to know how your ammo is going to perform, because you're trying to mimic something you can buy for less. And in order to do that, you have to have a common denominator, a way or a means to test it. So you can use a chronograph and ballistic gelatin to get the results and analyze the data, etc. Get the data, analyze the data, and get the results. So I'll show you that in a minute, but first I want to take a minute to say, in those type of incidents, you may be your only chance to survive. And I'm not trying to be scary, I'm not trying to be anything, but I would say, as a self-defender, person who carries a firearm for not only my safety, but to ensure that I have the tools to accomplish in the event that something like that happens, right? My firearm is for me and my family's defense, but also it could happen. You never know, and I'm not saying that I'd be ready to rock and roll if something like that happened. I'm just saying that I'd rather have the means and the capability to do so if called upon, so to speak. Train and be prepared. you have to be prepared every day. You never know what's going to happen. As a former soldier, you know, obviously I have a different maybe mentality on that. I've seen some things and seen some bad in the world, you know. Maybe not as much as some of our other veterans out there, but definitely I got my exposure and know full and well that evil exists in this world, and we're seeing it here in our own country now, and we've seen it before. But to me, having the ability to defend myself and my family, it is a constitutional, God-given, unalienable right, and I think and I pray that every one of you has that ability and takes it to heart, but be the safest person with it, with regard to it. Always consider your target, what's beyond your target. Obviously in a oh no situation like that, I can't even imagine what those people, the fear that this stuff generates. And again, I'm sorry this is such a serious start to this video, but it's a very prevalent thing, and it's only getting more prevalent. World is getting worse and worse. Hopefully, you know, I'm a hopeful person. I hope it stops. I hope it changes. I hope people come together and you know, we get help for those who need it in terms of mental health and so on and so forth. Like, these individuals are obviously not okay. So anyway, what I was saying, I say that to say this, is that I carry to make sure I'm safe, and sometimes you may be your last resort. Law enforcement may not get there. Let's get into this video. It's getting too deep for me. It's too hard to think about. But pray for those people who are suffering. These losses are just tragic and truly heartbreaking, to say the least, that it happens in our country. With that said, today's video, completely unrelated to the circumstances. Like I said, I had this prepared. I actually made this up. And it's been sitting in this fridge for who knows how long now, but I wanted to make this video for you all. From the reloading video, you guys said you wanted to see more of that stuff, so here it is. From here on out, I promise it'll be more fun than sadness. This is a ballistics block that I make myself for roughly $15 or give or take. Now, I reuse the Sterilite tote that you see there. That's a 16 quart Sterilite tote that I got from the dollar store for like $4 or $5, I think. And you can reuse it indefinitely if you clean it. I actually take that block and I cut it in half and I set it up end for end, so it's twice as long. It's not as big. You could actually quadruple that recipe, which would double what you end up with. I mean, double the recipe and double what you end up with. And then you'd have a big, huge block, which would be really cool. Again, for charting the data, we're making the scientific right. So reasons for doing this. Obviously, you want to know that your bullets, your projectiles are performing. Are they hollow points expanding? That's what they're designed to do. Are your rifle rounds expanding? You know, because I load for 6.5 Creedmoor, and I use hollow point boat tail projectiles. Are they doing what they're supposed to do? I really would be curious to see a comparison if I took and cut this block in half, because it's going to ruin it, I'm pretty sure. If I hit this with 6.5 Creedmoor, it's just going to kaboom, you know. Is the Hornady the same projectile weight? Is it better or worse than the Barnes? You know, that'd be a cool comparison, right? Gold Dot versus XTP for 9mm. That is the probably first test I want to do on camera. I think that'd be an interesting comparison. I think Gold Dot's superior. Some people love the Hornady. We'll see. I think my dad's more in the Hornady camp. I'm more in the Spear Gold Dot camp, but we could find out together. Now, it'll really ultimately depends on how I load them, right? Because I'm making them myself. But anyway, I'm going to do some footage here of pictures of what this stuff actually is made from, and I'll probably write in the recipe and leave it on so you can see it, and then I'll close this video out. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. If you like what you're seeing, be sure to comment down below. So like I said, I used this gelatin here from Kroger's, not Knox gelatin. You can actually get Knox gelatin from Amazon, and that seems to be the people's choice in general for making this kind of stuff. Here's what that is on Amazon.
But other than that, like I said, I use this Sterilite container as you saw, and this is just an example of that. And I just add super hot tap water, as much as you're going to need to mix it. For my recipe, it's half of the container, and then I whisk it as fast as I can to make sure you just whisk it like crazy, and then you put it in the fridge, and after about 24 hours it looks like this, which is kind of the final product. Then I can cut this and use it as a target. And I made this for literally like 15 bucks. Here is an example of a commercially available product, and it is quite a bit more, as you can see.
All right, so now I've went through the what I use, what you can use instead. So you never had to leave your house because I showed the Amazon comparable, and then basically the steps. So now you know how to make your own version of this. Now this isn't science, like this isn't real. I mean, it's not a real. If you go buy the stuff, I put in links to, not links, but pictures of how much this stuff costs if you buy it, and it's expensive. You know, no knock on those products; they are made precisely for, you know, the standard and the testing. But to me, I'm not doing this for any other purposes other than my own data collection and analytics. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It's repeatable, it's cheap, and it's cool. So that's why I do it. And with that said, like I said in a previous earlier, if you like this kind of stuff and you want to see me do videos where I actually test stuff in this, I'll absolutely do that for you, because I'm going to do it anyway. If you want me to turn the camera on while I do it, even better. And maybe I'll go into in-depth. Comment down below what you want to see. The next video is the Miller Prospecting Pirate Pater. So if you're not really into this kind of stuff, be on the lookout for that. And then I'm trying to get a hold of Z-Rich. I'm trying to find out how to get that stuff. So if you know how I can get some of that Z-Rich Pater, that was the #1 recommendation, comment down below so I can find a link, and I will get some of that on its way here so I can do a video on that Pater as well. Other than that, good luck, God bless, and I'll see you all on the next one.